Next at 6, the man accused of killing the mother of his child, leading to an international Amber Alert, is in court.
Former President Trump lashes out against the January 6th committee and continues to spread false claims about the 2020 election results. The warning from committee members about continued threats and a preview of their big hearing Tuesday.
We're taking you inside one of the largest sources of renewable energy in San Diego County.
Designers are making clothes for plus-sized women, and they're on the cover of magazines. So why aren't men getting the same treatment?
And how you can attend a Three Dog Night concert and help young adults get off the streets.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts right now.
The manhunt continues at this hour for a fugitive wanted in connection to a murder in Tijuana. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
And I'm Anna Laurel. Carlo Chiquetto is off tonight. Now, this case started as an Amber Alert south of the border for a 7-month-old baby. As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, the baby is safe, the mother is dead, and the father crossed the border into San Diego with a fake ID.
Trasplante de pelo, se pintó el pelo.
50-year-old Tyler Adams has at least 15 different aliases, and he's been called a master of disguise. These photos were taken just last week in Mexico when he was questioned about his missing 7-month-old daughter. He was able to cross back into San Diego on Thursday using a fake identification card, according to the FBI.
We know he's got at least one other identification card, probably more, at his disposal to cross undetected.
The baby girl was found safe in Mexico, but the body of the girl's mother, Rachel Sabian, was found inside a car near the beach in Tijuana. The FBI says Adams and Sabian had been crossing the border together in recent weeks.
They were living in San Diego for a period of time. They relocated to Mexico, and they had been living in Mexico for a couple months.
Court records show Adams is an ex-con with convictions for identity theft resulting in loss of more than $200,000, grand theft, making a false financial statement, forgery, and receiving a stolen vehicle. Adams also has a warrant for his arrest out of Hawaii, where he is accused of escaping from a work furlough program.
He needs to serve a lot of time in prison.
David Sabian is now in Tijuana, trying to claim the body of his dead daughter and reunite with his granddaughter, who remains in protective custody. Sabian says he had a bad feeling about Tyler Adams from the beginning.
Every time he was around her with me, he was always, "Hi, honey. Hello, sweetheart." He'd tell me, "I love your daughter. I love your daughter." But I didn't like him. He was a phony, you know.
Now, public records show his most recent address on this side of the border was in Temecula, but he also had previous addresses right here in Tierra Santa, as well as former addresses in downtown San Diego, Carmel Valley, and Carlsbad.
Now, David, we know Adams crossed back into the United States into San Diego Thursday, so he literally could be anywhere at this point, right?
Really, yeah, he could be anywhere, and he uses several fake names. In fact, when he crossed last week into San Diego, he used the name Aaron Lee Bain. So with 15 aliases, it's best to rely on those photos which were taken of him just last week, and we've posted those at CBS8.com.
Yeah, obviously something's going on with his face there. That's what the FBI said, certainly. All right, David Gottfredson, thank you for it.
It was a heartbreaking tragedy. 2 young children died in an October 2017 fire that their dad started as they slept. Now that father wants his conviction overturned. Henry Lopez was sentenced in 2019 to nearly 13 years behind bars for setting his Rancho Bernardo townhouse on fire. Prosecutors say Lopez passed out drunk while smoking a cigarette in his bed. But Lopez says he did not smoke in the house. He says his cell phone was under his pillow, and that is what caught fire. Investigators did not find any ashtrays or cigarette butts inside either. Lopez's claims are outlined in a newly filed petition obtained by CBS 8. For more information on that petition, visit CBS8.com.
Tonight, members of the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol say they have not ruled out a subpoena for former Vice President Mike Pence. As Natalie Brand reports, this comes after last week's hearing focused on former President Trump's efforts to pressure Pence into overturning the 2020 election results.
Monday, former Vice President Mike Pence appeared publicly just days after the bombshell House January 6th committee hearing, highlighting the danger he faced last year for refusing to block the certification of the 2020 election.
You know, we've all been through a lot over the last several years. A global pandemic, social unrest, a divisive election, a tragic day in our nation's capital.
Former President Donald Trump attacked his former vice president in rallies over the weekend, and he continued to spread the false election claims at the center of this month's congressional hearings.
We had a rigged and stolen election.
The former president is continuing on his campaign to undercut confidence in the election system.
Committee members have warned of a continued risk of political violence. Congressman Adam Kinzinger, one of two Republicans on the panel, tweeted a picture of a letter sent to his wife containing a threat to execute him and his family.
There is violence in the future, I'm going to tell you. And until we get a grip on telling people the truth, we can't expect any differently.
The Select Committee has scheduled more hearings this week. Tuesdays will focus on the former president's campaign to pressure state election officials.
A star witness set to testify, Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, who received this now infamous phone call from Mr. Trump days before January 6th.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Arizona's Speaker of the State House is expected to testify about efforts to get the Arizona state legislature to override President Biden's win in his state. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
All right, Natalie, thanks. After months of promising gas relief, California state legislature announced today it's creating a new committee to investigate why prices are so high. Political reporter Morgan Reiner joins us now with details on what exactly this new committee will be doing.
Speaker Rendon said the goal of the committee is to answer two questions. Why are gas prices so high, and what can lawmakers do to stop it? But I was left with just a few more questions.
The first question that you say that you wanted to answer is, why are we paying so much for gas? And then the signs around the room say, stop gas price gouging, as if that's the main reason behind it. So if your investigation does conclude that that's the reason, gas companies are just charging too much because they know that they can get away with it, what will the Assembly then do to stop that from happening?
Well, again, that's a big part of those are the questions we're going to ask, and I assume the committee, under the guidance of the chair, will come up with a list of recommendations.
When it comes to more immediate relief, the legislature and the governor have been going back and forth on the type and amount of relief they want to send back to consumers for months now.
We're going to have something done very, very soon.
But that's a line the public keeps hearing, so I pressed Speaker Rendon.
People have been hearing very, very soon for a very, very long time. Is there a date or a month that you can give us in terms of when people might see relief?
Well, again, we're following the normal course of the budget. The way the disbursement would work with respect to rebates, there are some ideas about a debit card, some ideas about a check. There's also direct deposit through FTB is the third option that we're considering. All those have different timelines, but it will be certainly something before October.
The legislature is set to go on vacation for an entire month in just a few weeks. Will this select committee hold a few meetings during that time period? Well, it's up to the chair, yet to be determined. Will they release a report to the public for everyone to see? That part of the question was not directly answered.
All right, thank you so much. Today, San Diego city leaders announced a proposed settlement that would end litigation around the city's failed 101 Ash Street property deal. You remember this one. It was one of two lease-to-own deals the city approved in 2017 under then-Mayor Kevin Faulconer. The other property is Civic Center Plaza. Now, the deals would have had San Diego paying millions more than the properties were even worth. That was complicated further when officials discovered the Ash Street building was uninhabitable because of asbestos. Well, the city later sued to get out of the deals. In its settlement offer now, the city is asking to buy both properties outright. It says that will save taxpayers $15 million. to if the city leased the building. Now, it does not take into account the millions needed to remediate the building.
Ongoing saga will continue to follow.
It's a lot of money.